Okay, so this is going to be a completely out of left field, completely different recording than I have done before. And I wanted to preface this before you click on this like it's just another little movie podcast. Fact is, it's my podcast, and I'll do damn well what I please with it, but I also wanted to talk about some things that I wanted to get out, some of my thoughts that I wanted to put out there. And why the hell not use this as my platform? Paid money for it, can do what I want with it. Alright, you should know that while I'm recording this, I've been pretty pissed off, so maybe my emotion through this will be sort of like venting, and that might be what this is, but this isn't genuinely, it's a reading of my thoughts as they were a couple of weeks ago, and you get to a point where even your friends don't appreciate your venting. Now, I don't know if that makes them bad friends, or if that makes you a bad friend to them, or if that means you've hit rock bottom. For some reason, it feels like all three to me. And it's a shitty feeling. So these are my thoughts on Sunday, September 22nd. It starts, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. And then it's crossed out. I can't get her out of my head. Not now, and not during the drive back from this event. Now, I doubt she really thought about me. Really. Like, part of that makes me feel bad, and also kind of sad. But I mean, I only just met her, and if you want to talk, if we're talking about how much I've actually spoken to her, it's probably like 10 or 15 minutes. Who knows? Like, I didn't keep a timer or anything like that. But even said, I don't understand why I get so attached like this, so obsessed like this. Is it okay to miss someone that you just met? To want to just extend that moment even longer? Maybe it's just because I'm really lonely. Or maybe it's because I feel lonely. And those are two different things. You know, I live with my family, and currently my grandparents are living with me. And I always had this little fear in the back of my head. And it had been there for years. Like, I'm not going to be that guy who's living in my parents' basement when he's 20 years old. But it's hilarious how fate works. If you can even call it fate. Some believe, some don't. But that's not too far from my current situation right now. So I don't get to connect with peers, save for a few times a week in my class. And even that, in that regards, it's because I feel like I don't get to connect with them. I feel like I'm harboring this deeply painful feeling of regret because I didn't talk to this girl enough, who I just met for like 15 minutes, or began overthinking how I came across whenever I was speaking with her. She replied to my text this morning, and, you know, it reeked of overall disinterest. I was just some other guy in the sea of guys that she would meet and then forget before her life ended. Completely and entirely inconsequential. that doesn't make me feel very good, and I don't think it should make me feel good. But I also don't think that it's that far from the truth. And thinking about that kills me. Just a little part of me dies inside. You know, it's like an ice pick to the heart. But what am I supposed to do with these feelings? You know, I'm sure one day, quite possibly soon from now, I'll completely forget about her. But she intrigued me. She interested me. Like a good mystery, or like the twist ending to a show that I didn't see coming. I mean, this is probably a crush. Or maybe just a genuine human interest in another person. Doesn't mean she's not beautiful, though. Might be a little bit of both. Like, I don't think it's very clear-cut. Feelings are messy. And they quite often get entangled with one another. So I don't think things can be measured in absolutes very accurately. And frankly, it makes things a lot messier than it might seem to make them clear-cut. So yeah, a part of me wants to suppress these feelings, and not think or talk or do anything with them. But I've done all that, and it honestly hasn't seemed to work. Not for me, at least. I guess I just want this sort of painful, regretful feeling to go away, or at least get to know her. You know, who knows? Maybe she wants to be on this podcast. I certainly asked her if she wanted to. In the middle of writing all this, another girl who I really shouldn't be talking to, but I just sent her a message. But for some reason, I guess she got ticked off even more, even though I certainly sent a harmless message. So now I'm waiting to see what this person is going to say to me. And my heart's racing. And I really feel myself getting anxious. But you know, it's fine. Things like this can only truly end in some sort of incensed text conversation. So I didn't necessarily want anything, and she didn't necessarily want anything at all. And for a couple weeks, this is all very... this is all very, very true. For a couple weeks, we were pretty close, and then she got busy, which I can in no way verify, but I am going simply on my naive trust for another human being. Because maybe I'm too gullible, maybe I'm too kind, or maybe I'm just a freaking idiot. Maybe I'm a little bit of all of those things. Anyway, she didn't want to hang out. She didn't want to talk on the phone or text, I guess. But we texted kind of infrequently. But me, on the other hand, I'm pretty passionate, and I very blatantly wear my heart out on my sleeve, like it's supposed to be there or something. And she was just too busy to reply, and she didn't want to spend her free time texting. Her words exactly. And as I'm writing this girl responded. So now my heart is racing. Actually, wait, no. I read that wrong. My heart rate is actually much lower now. But every time I saw her little text bubble start doing the little ellipsis as if she was typing something, my heart rate would spike. She basically only thought that she had things in common with me when in actuality she didn't. So that's kind of weird. That's kind of a lot to unpack, and it's kind of frustrating to hear from another human being. basically, she was either lying to herself or to me, or to both of us. Now, the cynic in me can just say that she was lying to me, and this was all planned, and she had ill intent. And the pacifist, the optimist, can just say, let bygones be bygones. This is just life, and things happen, and you move on. But things have happened to me so many times. How much longer do I just keep moving on? And when do I stay? Is it ever the right time to say? And why does that other person get to decide? I can't imagine. I have never been that person to let the other person down. Maybe that's an issue. That probably is an issue. Maybe I get too attached and wrapped up around whoever X person is. This very well could be true. Or maybe she's just lying to me. I've only known her for a couple weeks. I'm sure there have been lies that have gone on longer than a couple of weeks. Pretty sure those exist out there. So maybe I'm also too trusting and forgiving of people to really, really entertain those kind of thoughts. But that also 100% does not eradicate the possibilities of them existing in reality. But what this says to me is that I put too much into these other people. And I don't dedicate nearly enough of that attention that I put to someone else towards myself. A Calvin and Hobbes meme that I saw, I hesitate to call it a meme because I don't know, it was just an inspirational quote type of thing. It's not really a meme. So it was a Calvin and Hobbes thing that I sent to my friend a couple weeks ago that comes to mind. And basically, I used to think of relationships as finding someone who will take care of you if you take care of them. But this honestly puts it in this just puts it much better in my opinion. A relationship should be when someone pushes you or motivates you and really makes you be that person where you take care of yourself. Not for that other person, but you take care of yourself because you should take care of yourself. They motivate you to take care of yourself, and that person takes care of themselves too. It seems so simple, and I don't know. To me, it seems so simple and such a duh kind of moment, but it was also extremely profound. That just really affected me. I don't know if any of you can relate to having any moments like that. And they push you to become a better person and just overall become more fulfilled if you take care of yourself, and that other person also takes care of themselves. So basically, I guess I wanted to write this, and I wrote this for myself because writing my thoughts down helps. And it's for myself, and I can record my thoughts. So it's not necessarily only for myself now. And it's out there on the internet, and it's free for all of you guys. Whoever wants to listen, and whoever wants to, who this may help. Basically, so you don't and or you shouldn't owe anyone else anything. The only person you owe is yourself. Now, that sounds really sounds idiotic how simple that is. But for me, I was so wrapped up in other people that I completely forgot about myself and really taking care of myself. Basically, you need to do what you need to do. Because, and I am completely and fully aware, and I acknowledge how cheesy and sappy this might sound and probably will sound, but I don't give a shit. Because I mean it in every interpretation of these words. Because you need to do what you need to do. And this life is for you. Everyone, like, eating is for you. You eat for yourself. You eat for self-nourishment. And you live for yourself. First, you live for yourself. It is your life. So you are living for yourself. And then, and only then, does everyone else come. Everyone else comes after the fact. So basically, in life, there are things you cannot control. And if you cannot do those, you cannot control those things, by God, by like anything, just don't try to control it. And you'll just, because it's a vicious cycle, and it's never going to work, and it's going to blow up in your face, and it's not going to leave you or whoever else is involved better for it. And worst of all, you're just going to waste more time from your life. And that's just terrible. You just look out for number one. Because I have definitely slacked off in that department. And trust me, I've paid for it dearly. And yeah, don't indulge people when they're being facetious. They're not worth it. They're not worth you. And they don't deserve you or your time. I don't know how to end something like this. I hope that whoever this reaches, if it's literally just me talking to the void, I don't give a shit. But if this reaches someone and it helps someone in any way imaginable, then that's a net benefit. And I'll take it at that. But after that, I don't care. This was completely for me. This was something I wrote down for me, for my own betterment. And I have an outlet, so I put this out there. And if it helps anybody else listening to this, then the world's just a little bit better for it. So why the fuck not? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on Sunday, September 22nd. If you want to hear my thoughts on some other day, they're definitely nowhere near as coherent as what I wrote on that day. I do a lot worse when it comes to stream of consciousness. But yeah, you guys just, make it the best that you can make it. Because people don't exist for you, and you don't exist for other people. You exist for you. And some people, me included, I really think I needed to really learn that, and I needed to really let that sink in, because you can know something, you can like accept something as true, and I think I talked about this when I talked about the Joker movie. You can know that something is true and something is a fact, but until you really process and internalize, let it marinate, there's a lot of words, but you don't learn something until you yourself learn that thing. Now, me learning about learning comes from within, that was a mind fuck of a realization. Let me tell you that. It's like some inception shit in your mind, because you realize that it changes the way you think about learning things, like forever. Your entire life is kind of different from then on out, because learning is different from when on out, and we're constantly learning things, either subconsciously or consciously. So I think it was crazy. Those are just my thoughts, my 2 cents. Just a fellow human being to another. Yeah, hope you guys, whoever's listening, have a great one, Keep in mind what I've said, and, just think about it. Like, really, really think. Because at some point, that point where you stop thinking and reach that moment of clarity, that's when you know. And that's when you learn. That's when you understand. So, try to understand things better. This is just me, 20-year-old living in his parents' basement. So, take that at its word as well, Have a great day, anyone and everyone.